week I thought we would talk about maybe some bug protection, making sure there's no bugs happening on your plants, and also even like finding like proper like plant stands and things like that if you need that in your space. So for like bug protection, a lot of times when you have like house plants, especially if you have a lot, you always want to go and check and make sure that your plants aren't developing any sort of infestation, because although our plants are inside, it doesn't always mean that they're protected. There can be spiders that, somehow wander in our house and then like want to, find a little nest in our plants. I had a terrarium that attracted a very tiny little jumping spider who lived in there for a little while before I set him free outside. And some people, maybe they like spiders in their space, but other people don't. So if you want to make sure to get rid of those spiders, always check and make sure your plants are spider free. Another plant that another bug that I can think of that might be attracted to your plants is a mealybug, and those can just develop out of the blue. I've had several plants that ended up getting that. I'm not really sure like where they come from or things like that, but the best thing to get rid of a mealybug is alcohol. And you can dilute the alcohol if you're going to spray something like a fern or a callipea or like any of those plants that have a tendency to like absorb things very quickly. Now for your succulents and your cacti, you don't really have to worry about diluting. But I basically get like the highest alcohol that I can get, which is like the 91 isopropyl alcohol, and I just kind of mix that up in a spray bottle and I spray them down like completely. Just once usually doesn't work. You usually have to do it multiple times, but sometimes you can get lucky after the first time and it'll work. The mealybugs have to be caught early, otherwise your plant unfortunately is probably going to be too far gone, which is very unfortunate, especially if you had that plant for a while. But you can always remember that you can start over and hopefully not have mealybugs the next time. I did have a lemon callithea that I loved, and it ended up getting mealybugs. And I tried for months to save it and ended up dying. I got another one from the same store, ended up developing mealybugs, so now I haven't purchased a new one until I find it from a different buyer, because I'm just kind of afraid that buyer has infected plants. So, but let's see. We talked about mealybugs, we talked about spiders. The little gnats that get inside your house that you can sometimes see fly around. They'll usually be attracted to like fruits or things like that. Sometimes they'll like hang out around like a lot of moisture. But if you don't talk about those little gnats, the little black gnats that go around flying around your home, those can also be a very big issue because they like to burrow down in your soil, and they will like take over a plant, basically like kill it from the inside, because they're trying to use like all the nutrients that your plant has. So you always want to make sure to catch those early as well. Those can also be killed with alcohol. Alcohol is really the solution for killing a lot of bugs. If you want bug prevention, I always mix up there's like a heavy duty bug solution that I have that I'm like, if I start to see things that are suspicious, it has alcohol, lemon essential oil, eucalyptus essential oil, clove essential oil, and peppermint essential oil, which is a lot, but all of those work together, and I fill it up with water as well. So I dilute it because that's a lot of different things happening, and then I shake it up. And you just want to make sure that it smells like strong, and you go around like usually I'll put like 4 of each essential oil, like drops. So that's like a lot. But you go around and you spray your plants, and it does a pretty solid job at taking care of your plants. As far as like what I've had around the house, it's really worked for me. Also, I have like a lighter, kind of like if I just want to do like a little light prevention, that I'll just put all the essential oils and some water in a container, and I'll put the eucalyptus, the lemon, the peppermint, and the clove, and mix all those in there. Shake it real good, because you want to make sure the oil mixes with the water when you spray it, and you'll have to shake it every single time you use it. If you have some left, and you just spray down your plants, and that's a really light solution. That way you don't add in the alcohol when you're like not seeing anything suspicious, because alcohol could actually be very harmful if you use it too much. Or if you like end up having it, like let's see it on this fern that y'all can kind of see in the camera frame. Like if I used straight up alcohol in it, it wouldn't do so well because it absorbs so fast. So you want to dilute it for those plants that, you know, absorb really quick. But like for cacti and succulents, you don't really have to worry about dilution. Another thing that we can talk about is, let's see, talk about diluting our plants with the alcohol. I did go on an adventure this weekend and got a nice shelf for some plants over by one of my windows, and I also got a nice little table. Always like go and check out your local antique stores, and like if you need a plant stand, like a lot of times they'll have them for cheaper than like if you were to go out to like, let's say, Hobby Lobby or things like that, to go try to find a plant stand. And I'm always like, you know, like if you get, like if it's the wrong color, like DIY that thing, like spray paint it and like just, you know, make it your own. You can even like build plant stands using like wood if you're crafty like that. Like my papa does a really good job at like making like he made me this beautiful plant stand that I have out on the front porch that I'll use when it gets warm. I have some plants in the basement that I'm saving up, and I'll move them outside there. So he's really crafty that way. But yeah, like just make sure that you're like finding the best deals. It's kind of like when you're, I think I talked about this on Instagram. I haven't talked about it on here yet. If you're making terrariums and you're looking for terrarium containers, go to your local antique store. Like they have a lot of different like old pickle jars and things like that that can actually turn out to be like really cool terrariums. All my terrariums that I have are out of like old jars that I found at the antique store. I love the history. I am very adamant though, like don't damage the history. Like, you know, if it's something like, let's say it's wooden or something like that, it only needs like a touch up to like look nice, like always preserve the history before you destroy it. A lot of these like metal things and things of that nature are just kind of, they're not necessarily antiques, but they're in the antique store, and that's what I'm talking about redoing. If you do find genuine antiques, I always recommend preserving those because in the long run, you know, you can end up with a great piece of furniture that just adds value to your space. Anything else for today? I had 2 plants that ended up getting mealybugs over this winter break. I usually have like 1 or 2 that ends up developing it. What I did, one was in a cave, so I ended up just like dousing that thing in alcohol. Like it doesn't care. The caves are so hardy that I didn't really have to worry about whether or not the alcohol is really going to damage it. And the mealybugs hadn't gotten like bad enough. I caught them early, so they ended up dying. And that plant is now saved. It's been saved for a long time. There was another Calathea that I actually got not that long ago, and it ended up getting mealybugs. I think it was one of the ones that I got from Knoxville when we went to go visit there. So it ended up getting mealybugs, and I ended up having to spray it down with a diluted solution, and now it's okay. It's been fine for a little bit. That one I'm still watching because prayer plants, they have to stay moist, so a lot of the time it's very hard to save those plants when they do get mealybugs because of their need for moisture, and the moisture attracts the mealybugs and keeps them alive. So basically just watch your plants, make sure they're not becoming infested. It's a never-ending process. Even if they're indoors, they're not safe. Always just make sure that you're watching and make sure your plants are always healthy. That's all for now, and I'll see you all on Saturday if you want to tune in. This week I'm going to post a Book Smart Saturday where I talk about a book that I've recently been reading with my boyfriend Aaron. So if you do want to tune in, I will hopefully have that set up on Saturday. I'm not sure what time, but it's all edited. I just have to remember to post it. So I'll see you all next week if you're tuning in for Plant Wednesday. Bye guys!